The FBI search of Mar-a-Lago has sparked a wave of threats against law enforcement. Now, House lawmakers are demanding data from the country's largest social media companies about violent threats online. The House Oversight Committee has sent letters to 8 social media companies, including Meta and Twitter, citing a, quote, spike in social media users calling for civil war. Meanwhile, a Republican candidate for a state House seat in Florida has been booted from Twitter. That's after he tweeted about his plan to shoot federal agents on site. The candidate, Luis Miguel, is on the ballot in the state's upcoming primary. So just how concerned should we be about the possible outbreak of political violence? Here to help us answer that question is NBC News senior reporter Ben Collins. Ben, I am very glad you are here. You are the guru and the expert on this. So can you start by giving us the 30,000-foot perspective here? How is this FBI search of Mar-a-Lago influencing violent rhetoric online? And is it different from what we've seen in the lead up to January 6th, for example?
It's very similar in what we saw before January 6th, where people didn't really care if they were going to get visited by the feds over what they posted online. And some of them were, by the way. In the last few weeks, there was a man in Pennsylvania who was visited after he said that he was not going to be taken in alive and he was going to shoot some FBI agents. So that combined with the guy in Cincinnati who went by himself to go and fire a nail gun into an FBI office before getting into a shootout with cops, it shows that these people are very serious about this. They were very ready to go. The difference is now they don't have a guy barking directions. For January 6th, Donald Trump told people explicitly who to target. He said, come to this thing on this day. He said, come here on January 6th, and then we're going to go march on the Capitol. The difference is now his megaphone is a little bit smaller. He can only use his own social media network now. He's off Twitter and Facebook. So they are looking for directions, but the violence and the willingness to do violence is still there.
So then what sorts of actions do social media companies normally take in the face of these threats then?
Well, so if they're asked to comply, they really have no choice. So Gab is one of those far-right media websites that is used by a lot of wild extremists, and they complied with a subpoena with that guy in Pennsylvania who said he was going to, kill FBI agents. They really had no choice on that one. But in terms of proactive enforcement, which is the more important thing here, with Facebook or Twitter, trying to find out repeat offenders and where people are headed in terms of directing their harassment. For example, posting specific FBI agents that did that search at Mar-a-Lago. That sort of thing is still up there, still around, because they know how to manipulate the levers. The bad guys, the disinfo agents, are masters at this. They have created an entire craft out of information warfare. And Facebook and Twitter and those big companies have not caught up yet.
This is, it is concerning to say the least, Ben. I think the thing that strikes me most about this entire conversation is that these threats often escalate from just online chatter to violent action against specific targets. You talked about how in the lead up to January 6th, there was a come here, do this at this place. How does that happen in the absence of, a tweet that we saw in the lead up to January 6th? So the right has done a very good job of creating what they think is like a parallel internet where they have their own spaces, and it's not just on Twitter or things like that or YouTube. They have their own Twitters and YouTube. It's Rumble for YouTube. It's Truth Social for Twitter. Even for example, the Reddit communities that got kicked off, the Donald, for example, which is where they planned a lot of January 6th. They just cloned Reddit, and it's called the .win communities now, where they can go and that serves as like an armory in the information war to them that allows them to come together and, post their best things, rank it up. And then the things that they view as the most useful in their information war, they go and they put those back on civilian services like Twitter and Facebook under accounts that they realize are going to get banned anyway. So again, they're fighting in a war, and regular people are just using Twitter and Facebook to go to the mall or arrange childcare and stuff like that.
So, it is a battleground for members of the Trump right, and it is an organization tool for real life for most regular people.
Oh, concerning. Ben, you do the hard work. Thank you for living in these very weird spaces and places so you can come and explain the threat to all of us. NBC's Ben Collins, thank you very much.